Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Rundown, your favorite show where we give you our top 5 lists of some of our favorite topics.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. It has been a while. We've been a little busy.
We've been trying to think of lists.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
It's tough.
It is tough. It's tough. But
we thought of one.
We did come up with one. We did come up with one earlier today.
It was a good one, actually.
Yes. Top 5 80s movies.
Anything that came out in the 80s.
Anything. Now,
bright neon lights.
Yeah,
cocaine.
denim jackets.
That's the 80s.
Yeah, just
good. I've always thought if I picked a decade to live in, 80s would be a lot of fun.
Well, that's just because you like Vice City.
Yes.
And Miami Vice.
I haven't really seen much of the show. The movie's a piece of shit. But...
All right, so we are going to put a disclaimer here. Coming up with our lists, there are so many movies.
There's a lot
that we absolutely love from the 80s that we couldn't fit all of them, obviously, on a top 5 list.
Like major franchises.
There's
franchises.
A lot. Yeah, definitely. So, you will, obviously, again, these are our opinions.
Reasons for the list. We'll talk about the ones we missed after this.
Yes,
but
definitely.
there are some big ones.
There are definitely
and we
some
apologize beforehand.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what's on his list. He doesn't know what's on my list, so maybe they'll cross over.
I know for me personally, there's some I'm like, oh god, I left this one off.
Oh yeah, so definitely. When I was looking through, I had to pick and choose. But what? Hey, you got a coin? You got a coin on you?
I don't.
All right, I'm gonna flip.
You can go.
You want me to go?
Go.
All right.
Make it easy.
All right, so we're going to start this off here. Number 5. I've talked about this film studio on a couple other episodes that we do of like the cutting room and everything. This is a film that was done by Studio Ghibli.
Okay.
A lot of people are going to think I'm going to say My Neighbor Totoro, which is a fantastic movie.
Pretty good.
But I went with the more dramatic Grave of the Fireflies.
Ooh. That's a good one.
I actually didn't see that movie until your roommate told me about it. But, I was a big Studio Ghibli fan, and I have heard about it. I heard about the movie, but I never watched it until I was told of how amazing it is.
Kelly finally showed it to me too.
Yes, yeah, and it is such a good movie. There's no happy ending.
No.
In that movie, but it
goes bad.
It was made for, to basically show how people were living, during the war and everything, and back then the theaters and everything they didn't agree, they didn't want to show that in theaters and everything, but
it's super depressing.
Well, it very much is, and it kind of showed them in a bad light a little bit, but it was how they lived. But what they did to be able to get that shown is. Miyazaki said he would not mass distribute Totoro to theaters unless they played Grave of the Fireflies before it.
Are you talking about theaters like Japan?
Japan, because they didn't come to America for quite a while.
I was about to say, I don't think those came there.
Yeah, no. In Japan, they wouldn't let them. They had to play it with Grave of the Fireflies.
Okay.
So basically, all of Totoro's box office sales they shared with Grave of the Fireflies.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And if you haven't seen Grave of the Fireflies, it's one of those movies you
grab
really,
a box of tissues.
Yeah, you really only need to watch it once. But it is so good. You'll probably want to watch it again.
It'll ruin your week, but in a good way.
Yeah, you'll think about stuff after you watch it.
A little bit. Yeah,
it's so good. Number four. I guess you could call it an animated movie, but I guess you could also call it a live action movie.
Okay.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Ooh, I love Roger Rabbit.
That is such a good. And there's always talks that they keep talking that they might do a sequel.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how.
Yeah,
Bob Hoskins is dead.
Yeah, it's very.
Unfortunately.
Sadly. But no, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the first. The first that we had both. Bugs Bunny. Mickey Mouse in the same movie, basically.
It was cartoons. It was for back then. That was crazy.
Yeah. Donald Duck and Daffy Duck.
Can you say it was maybe one of the first ever major mashups of something like that? I can't think of really anything off the top of my head before it to that
to that degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean they were mashing up I mean I'm sure, you know, in the comics they had crossovers
Right,
and stuff
yeah.
like that, but in a film sequence where rights were owned by two major different companies, you know, I'm sure there were small crossovers here and there.
Yeah.
But something to that extent, I don't think so.
No, I can't think of anything.
We could be wrong. Send us an email.
Yeah. Hit us up.
But yeah, so Who Framed Roger Rabbit, just an absolutely...
Like you said, revolutionary.
Yeah, very
It was
revolutionary.
something no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, with the live actions and the cartoons and everything and how well it was done.
Okay, it just bothered me. What was that movie Brad Pitt did that was similar?
Brad Pitt was...
It was kind of a ripoff, but I can't think of it, and now it's kind of driving me nuts.
the
Help
only thing
us
I can think
out.
of is Space Jam.
Help us out. Was he in Space Jam?
No, he was not in Space Jam. No.
Oh, similar movies, but
Yeah.
he was in something. That's gonna drive me nuts. Well,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
or tell us.
Yeah. Number 3, one of my all-time favorite comedies ever.
Okay.
That is Airplane.
Airplane's pretty good.
Airplane was absolutely hilarious. You've got Leslie Nielsen as the doctor on board, delivering some of the most notable quotes.
It's very quotable.
Yeah, very, very
Don't call me
quotable.
Shirley.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, even if you haven't seen that movie, you've probably heard
You've
people
heard of it.
use
You've probably
that
heard
line.
references, and then you'll see this movie like, oh,
Yeah,
that's where that's from.
I picked the wrong weed to stop doing methamphetamines. I picked the wrong weed to stop sniffing glue. Yeah. You know, have you ever been to a Turkish prison? You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. I mean, you get Robert Stack in there.
Right.
You know, just as it's every character in that is memorable. They do a bunch of spoofs, you know, like Saturday Night Fever and everything like that. Just unbelievable comedy.
Right.
Just
Wouldn't
super
maybe
great.
say like spoof movies too?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
this type, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd give it
Man, I
that.
love the 80s. It gave us a lot of like firsts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it really did. Number 2, I would put Airplane as one of my favorite comedies. This one tops it.
Okay.
It's a Steve Martin movie,
Oh,
Planes, Trains, and
I
Automobiles.
love that movie.
It is unbelievably funny.
It is great.
I mean, you've got John Candy
Yep.
and Steve Martin. Basically, one of the
I guess
they
you
were
could
the
say-
comedy duo to start comedy
We
duos.
say it's the best road trip movie of all time.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely, yeah.
100%.
I
Yeah.
think it kind of gave birth to that thing too.
Yeah, and those two as a comedy duo. I mean, basically, you know, coming after that, you had your Chris Farley and your David Spade.
Right. I was just
and-
about to say, like, you have your movies like Tommy Boy, but those
Yep.
even have been made if it wasn't for Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
Exactly.
They
I don't
kinda
think
paved
so.
the way for those.
Yeah, I really don't think so. And then it's got a super good message at the end
Right.
too. You know, like
Yeah,
when
it's
you
kind of a
find
little
out.
twist, and it's really good.
Yeah, you get a little sad, and it's just like, oh man, what's going on here?
I just love the part where John Candy's driving that, just driving on the highway in that tiny ass car. He's just sitting there jamming away, and the whole car is just bouncing.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, and then after the car starts on fire,
Yep.
and they're driving down the highway the wrong way
Yep.
as well, and they're just like, oh, he's drunk, like he doesn't know what's going on. Thank you.
Yeah, we're
thank you.
good.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely
love that
hilarious.
movie.
Yeah, I might watch that tonight. Actually.
it's very rewatchable.
Oh,
it's one of those you kind of watch around Christmas time.
Yeah.
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 I'll say one thing
Thanksgiving,
too is like
Christmas.
it's one of those. It's kind of like a time machine because they're traveling so much around in the 80s, and you can just kind of see like how airports were in the 80s, like cars and everything.
Yeah,
it's
the
really
whole
good in that regard.
the whole rent-a-car thing at that
Exactly.
airport. He's got to go all the way down, or take a shuttle down to get it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Now my number 1, going away from a comedy, it's an action movie.
Okay, you gotta
because
throw one.
you
action,
got to throw
like,
the action movies.
There's a lot
in
of
there,
good
'cause
80s action
It was
stuff.
it was definitely the 80s, and that was what they were big on. I am a huge Jean-Claude Van Damme
Anyone
fan.
who knows you.
Yes, definitely.
Well, who doesn't like him?
Yeah, I mean, he's fantastic. A lot of good movies with Kickboxer, and I mean, he was just recently in The Expendables 2, which he was literally the best part of that
Yeah,
movie.
and you know
I
what?
was very mad when they had him get killed by...
He literally jobbed to Sylvester Stallone.
He definitely
and
did.
that part made me so mad.
In no way...
Because you're kind of, I know we're getting off track, but it's kind of like, all right, you're looking for this fight, and then it just sucks.
It was terrible. And in no way in real life would Sylvester Stallone ever
that was the real stupid part.
ever beat Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No.
But my number 1 movie, Bloodsport.
Nice.
Bloodsport, by far, probably was the movie to get me into martial art movies.
For a lot of people.
My dad was a huge martial art movie, fanatic. He was a martial artist himself. He had his own gym. He was a grandmaster in, I want to say Kenpo, or it was something. I'll look into it. But Bloodsport was he showed me that probably when I was around 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old, and just watching him fight in the Kumite, just the whole crazy fight montage and everything,
right.
Fighting the big sumo dude and everything, and then you get Bolo Young as Chun Li,
Yep.
the guy who spoke no English and dubbed over all of his lines, but still was one of the most badass villains of any of those movies back in the day.
Right.
And
it's a classic. I mean, as
it's
far as action movies go, it's up there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Again, yeah, pretty much anything with Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I've got to put Bloodsport as my number one.
Yeah. No, it's a good list. I like it too. It's a really personal list.
Yes, and that's what we do
too.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all these are personal.
You're gonna be wondering like, where's this movie or where that movie? I mean,
yeah.
Then you can say that about a lot of lists.
Sure. All right, go ahead. Let's give it a go.
Before we start, we did have one of the same.
We did have,
and
one
that's
of the
gonna be
same,
the one I'm
didn't
gonna
we?
start off with, so we can kick it off right off the bat.
Sure.
That is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Planes, Trains,
I
and
love that
Automobiles.
movie to death.
It's so good.
I guess I can kind of say it's my favorite John Hughes movie too.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of good stuff, and I mean, a lot of John Hughes movies are, associated with the 80s too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink,
yeah.
all of those, and they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good. Unfortunately, this is the only one that shows up. I bet a lot of those movies will show up on a lot of people's lists, but not here. But yeah, like we said, fantastic comedy, so funny.
Yeah.
Like the chemistry between Steve Martin and John Candy is just great.
Unbelievable.
Oh, awesome movie. My number 4, I gotta give a mention to this franchise though. Like I said, we're gonna leave a lot out, but this one has to make it. The Empire Strikes Back. Has to.
Yeah.
Has to be on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just one of the. Where do you start? I mean, the whole set pieces between the Battle of Hoth, all the way to the end, where Luke fights Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people say it's probably maybe the best Star Wars movie, and I'll agree, it is.
I could agree with that too.
I agree. I know a lot of people don't like Return of the Jedi. I personally do. I know a lot of people don't like the Ewoks and that sort of thing, but I really like it. But this is the best one.
Oh, it definitely
has just a lot going for it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said too, I think for 80s in general, like Star Wars has to be represented. Mm-hmm. So I had to put that on my list.
I was thinking about putting a Star Trek movie on my list because I'm actually a bigger Star Trek fan than I am of Star Wars. That's why I wasn't on the cutting room episode.
Okay.
But
way back when?
Yeah, way back when.
Time flies.
Yeah. Geez, that was months ago.
It was back in May.
Wow. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we probably released it in June, but we
probably.
did it in May.
Yeah. What do you got next? What was your number 3?
Number 3. Okay, this movie is a movie you can really associate with the 80s. It was actually the first one I thought of when I thought of this list, and I think it's going to be a first for a lot of people. Back to the Future.
Number one.
Number one.
Okay.
Number 1.
I was a bigger fan of 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of different for a lot of people. I know I've seen some people like 3 the best, 2 the best, but personally I really like 1 the best.
People like 3 the best?
Seen people like that. The train's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I was so sad the first time I watched it too when they like ran over the car. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then you show the train. I'm like, I still miss the car. No, I absolutely love Back to the Future. That movie the first word that comes to mind when I think of that movie is just originality.
Oh yeah.
It's super original. It has super so many memorable scenes. Like it's so iconic. With the DeLorean and everything. I mean, like I said, it really embodies what the 80s is all about.
Christopher Lloyd was like 46 when he filmed that.
You know what? Yeah, you wonder that too, because you first watch the movie, like, this dude has to be 60, 70, and then you realize he's still alive. Like, how is he not 100 years old?
Yeah, he was like 46.
That's the guy, too, you think of actors, like, you've never seen him young.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's been in stuff, but I've never...
Like someone like Morgan Freeman, for example.
Well, he actually didn't get into movies until later
but,
on.
But there's no young part of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you see a young, like, Christopher Lloyd Murphy's like, that's him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. No, Back to the Future, love that movie.
Yeah,
Great.
Absolutely good. Well, one of my favorite scenes in that movie, A Million Ways to Die in the West. I know that movie wasn't, it wasn't anything like super
People
special.
either loved it. I personally haven't seen it.
I liked it. Oh, you haven't seen it?
No. You can go ahead.
Okay,
That's fine.
there's a scene.
That's fine.
Where Seth MacFarlane's character is walking, after leaving like Charlize Theron's house or whatever, and he's walking and he sees a barn like off in the distance, and he sees like lights like going off in it, like bright lights or whatever.
Yeah.
And he walks up and he like peeks in. And it's Christopher Lloyd like working on something like under a sheet, and he he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he turns around, and that's when he noticed that it's Christopher
Nice.
Lloyd. He's like, nothing."
That's pretty
And he's
good.
just like, okay.
Well, geez, now I kind of want to watch the movie now.
Yeah, and then he walks out, and he gets like, "Great Scott!" And it's a
awesome.
great scene. We'll talk about it later. There's another cameo in that movie you would absolutely love.
Really?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well,
that
now it
one
seems
is,
like
though.
because I think it's on demand.
Yeah, you would absolutely love this scene.
Maybe
but
I'll have to do that
let's
tonight.
continue with this. Let's
All
continue.
right. So next two, I think number two. I'm surprised you didn't have it on your list.
I mean, like I said, there were a lot that
This-
almost
'cause
made it.
I know this is your favorite director.
Okay.
Okay, and that is
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
The Shining.
That's exactly what I thought you were talking
It's like,
about.
I gotta ask, how? I'm really surprised that wasn't on your list.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing with The Shining. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it.
I
love
really
it.
love that movie.
It
I had to double check too. It was like this was in the 80s and it was 1980.
it might not
So it
even be
counts.
like my top three Kubrick films though. Is the thing.
The thing is, his movies are so interchangeable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I love A Clockwork Orange. I love Barry Lyndon. I love his Spartacus.
2001.
2001. There's so Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
That one was the 80s and almost made it onto
Yeah, I was about to say
onto my list.
that could be on a lot of people's list too.
Yeah, but no, don't get me wrong. I love The Shining. There are so many subtle things in that movie that you
Right.
barely even
It's
realize.
funny. I just thought
and,
I was just watching something cool on the other day. It was actually on the Travel Channel. It was like one of those mysteries at the hotel. And they talked about how Stephen King got the idea. And it's because he actually stayed a night at the hotel.
Yep.
And had a nightmare, and that's how he got it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just that's a movie when I first saw it. I saw it as a kid, so it terrified the hell out of me. But it really stuck with me. And it had that, I guess I'll say that Kubrick charm.
Oh yeah.
That all his
definitely.
movies had that no director will ever duplicate, ever.
Nope.
Just
Definitely not.
fantastic film.
Yeah, and I actually didn't mind. Sci-Fi did like a kind of remake, like a miniseries
I
remake.
heard about that, yeah.
And it wasn't bad. It was it's no Kubrick one, but
no.
it was not a bad
Yeah, I did hear it was pretty good. I
representation.
never got a chance to see it, but it did look interesting. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep, it was decent.
Oh yeah,
It was decent.
good. Okay, number one. This is probably a movie that maybe make my top 5 movies. Period.
Okay.
Another director too, very associated with the 80s. And that's John Carpenter.
Is it The Thing?
It is The Thing. I love The Thing. I love The Thing so much. The new one, not so much, but the old one,
right?
old one is. I love it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just such a cool idea they had in that movie. You didn't know who was infected, and just special effects wise back then,
Oh yeah,
looked so good.
yeah, unbelievably good.
It was just the only way I can think of it is just cool. It was such a cool horror movie.
And it was a good idea.
Different too. Yeah, it was a really
it
cool idea. I mean, you can't think of like horror movies like are in Antarctica. It had some alien virus, and just
40 days and wait, no, what was that one with Josh Hartnett?
40 Days and 40 Nights.
Was it that one?
Yes.
No, the Arctic one.
Was-
Not the one where Josh Hartnett can't have sex.
Oh, I thought that's what
No,
you were
no,
talking about.
no,
Oh
no.
my
There's
God.
there's one with like Josh
like
Hartnett.
40
and
Days of Night.
40 Days of Night.
Or
Wait, was that
something
Josh
like-
Hartnett?
It was Josh Hartnett. It was both Josh Hartnett.
So right, so he was in a movie called 40 Days and 40 Nights and 40 Days of Night.
I can look it
We'll
up.
look it up. We'll look it up later.
Now,
but I'm
now you
pretty
got me
sure
thinking of
that's
that.
what it is.
I was trying to figure out where you going with this.
Yeah, that movie where he
I was like,
can't.
I love Josh Hartnett.
Yeah,
I
that
think he's
movie where
very
he can't get
underrated,
laid.
actually.
What has he been in recently?
Bunraku. No,
Okay, I said recently.
he has a show. I can't remember what it's called, but he has a show.
He has a show?
It's on Stars or Showtime.
Okay.
He has a show.
Okay.
back to what I was saying. The Thing.
Yeah, The Thing.
I love The Thing. I even love the game.
There was a game. That's right.
Right here. I got it.
Boom.
The Thing. It's actually a really tough game to play, too.
Is it?
It is. I can't even ever finish it because it was really tough. I got stuck at some point. But no, anything with The Thing. I even like parts of the remake, too, was like okay. When they actually wanted to use actual effects.
I don't know if I actually watched the remake.
I wouldn't say it's not worth. It's not something really worth seeing. But...
I remember seeing some of the main things from the original that they wanted to redo in the remake. I remember them just going straight to CGI for it, and I remember seeing that it looked awful from some of the stuff that I looked up.
Because when they used actual effects, it was not bad.
Yeah.
It was not bad at all.
I mean, and that's what made Jurassic Park.
Oh, that too. Great. Yeah, I mean that's always the thing when Jurassic World came out.
Yeah,
everyone's saying oh, it's not gonna have the same feel because it's not gonna have. And it did have a few. Jurassic World did, but
yeah, but that's another
thing with The Thing too is about 4 or 5 years ago, I went to. You ever heard of Universal Horror Nights?
Oh yeah. What are they doing this year? Are they doing Silent Hill this year? The Walking Dead.
They did it a few years ago. I think they also did Walking Dead, but every year they have a theme.
Yeah,
and the theme that year was The Thing.
Okay.
So you can actually go into a setting like the Antarctic base.
Sure.
And as a big fan, I was like, I was just scared the hell out of me. And they said you couldn't take pictures, but I'm a camera going like this.
Yeah.
Trying to hide it. I'm taking pictures because this is so cool. And of course you can go through that, and they have a theater there. This is in the Orlando studios, and you can go see the movie after. The Thing is just, like I said, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I love The Thing.
It's a fantastic list.
Yeah. But like we're saying,
some notable ones that didn't go on there:
Ghostbusters,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sorry. I saw these oh my god, I can't believe I'm leaving these off.
Yeah, I felt
so bad.
So many of them.
80's was really rich in movies.
It very much was
iconic stuff.
It very much was. Yeah. So there are our lists. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of people disagree with us.
I bet.
I mean, mine.
I bet there's people screaming "Where's Ghostbusters?" And you know what? I agree with you, but it's just personally, I can't fit it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's only 5. Maybe a top 10.
Yeah.
I definitely put it on there.
So yeah, check us out next time. Who knows? We might do a top of the 90s or something,
I would love that.
or we'll do something with the 90s. Maybe we'll do more
Jurassic
80s.
Park.
I did say Jurassic Park.
Probably show up on one of ours.
It won't show up on mine. I can
might
tell you
on
that.
mine. It might on mine.
Yeah, I mean there are multiple movies for. I mean the 90s is going to be even harder.
Yeah, it is
because that was the time when we were alive.
Yeah, so... it's like we remember some of these movies.
Yeah,
I'll say another 80s movie too. Michael Keaton's first Batman.
Yeah,
I was like, dang it.
Yeah,
can't put it on there.
There were so many that could have been.
I made this list Planes and Trains is not leaving.
Oh yeah,
it's staying on my list because I love that movie.
Yep. All right, but yeah, tell us what your guys' lists are.
Yeah,
send us an email, send us a tweet or anything like that. Tell us that you hated our list. Who cares, But tell us what you hated about our lists. We love to hear from you guys.
Why.
We've gotten a bunch of submissions from you guys already. Maybe we'll pick up some of those. But yeah, so until next time, thanks for watching.
Yep.